Hey, fellow enthusiasts, this is Tommy Lanham,
And I'm Tammy.
and we are on a mission to break the monotony of the mundane and the mediocre by bringing as much enthusiasm to as many businesses, ministries, marriages, and individual lives as we possibly can. Hey, if you want to hear a special episode as we address ministers and their marriages, then this video is for you.
Here we go.
Hey guys, we wanted to do this special episode specifically for ministers and their spouses. Oftentimes we talk about marriage in a general sense because we have a heart for marriages everywhere. Being a couple that has been there and done that in pastoral ministry, we understand the unique issues that ministers and their spouses deal with. We know what it's like to be in bed in the middle of the night and get a phone call and you got to get up and go. We know what it's like when you make family plans and there's an emergency in the church and you've got to just trash those plans. We know what it's like for couples in ministry to give their heart and soul to a church and to have people in that church just ridicule them and put them down and spread a whole lot of negativity about them. We've been there. We connect with you in that regard. And so we wanted to do this special episode just for you. Hold your marriage above the church and the ministry. It is more important than your ministry. It is more important than the church you serve. It's more important than that paycheck. And listen, I know we're spiritual. We don't do it for the money. Listen, I know what it's like to have the security of a regular paycheck control your decision-making process. We know what that's like. And here's my encouragement to you. Don't give in to that. Your marriage is more important than that paycheck. I'm not saying the church isn't important. I'm not saying the church shouldn't have a priority. And let's be honest, ministers typically do not get paid a lot. If you go into the ministry for the money, you're not smart enough for the job, right? Ministry is very, very difficult on marriages. Listen, divorce is not something that avoids couples in ministry. Oftentimes it attacks 100-fold on couples that are in ministry. A lot of the time, the pressure that we feel to perform, the pressure we feel to work long hours, to have great sermons, to be at the hospital for every visit, every day, anytime somebody's in the hospital, the pressure that we feel to do that oftentimes comes from us. It's not always from the church. And we've got to learn to release that. Talk with your leaders. Realize it's a ministry you do together. Yes, you're the paid minister and theirs is volunteer. And yes, you should be doing most of the work. But they are also leaders too. And they need to be partners in that. Sometimes they need to do the visit. Because you need a day off. You need blocks of time where you are not on call 24/7 for the church. And if they require, if the leadership of that church requires that of you, look for another church. Okay? Because that's not fair to you. It's not fair to them. The healthiest churches are churches where the members and the leaders are equipped to do ministry for themselves. That's your main priority as a minister. And once you do that, that frees up some time for you to be able to commit to your marriage, to your spouse, to your kids. I've said this before. If you lead 1,000 people to Jesus and your kids leave the faith because you neglected them during your ministry, then you have failed not only as a father, but you've also failed as a minister. Your wife and your children are your top priority. Then the church, then the ministry. Have an open conversation with the leadership of your church. In most cases, I think you will find out that the pressure that you feel comes more from you than it does from them. Now, there may be others in the congregation that are putting that pressure on you, but listen, you are directly accountable to the leadership in that church. Everybody else doesn't determine what all your ministry entails. It's the leadership of that church. So have an open and honest conversation with the leadership of your church about what is required of you. Get a job description, and in that say, hey, I've got to have family times. My wife and I, we do 40-hour family time blocks now, but even when I was in located church ministry doing pastoral ministry, we still had those 40-hour blocks. And you know what I didn't do during those times? I didn't answer the phone. And my leaders were cool with that. Not everybody in the church was cool with that, but my leaders were cool with that. Okay, matter of fact, they encouraged that. Why? Because they wanted their minister to be the best minister that he could possibly be. And in order to do that, you've got to have a solid relationship with your children and with your spouse. It will help the church be healthier, it will help you be healthier, and it will ultimately ignite your enthusiasm. Hey guys, if you want to be a part of the fellow enthusiast community, one of the best ways to do that is to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking on the button below. I know you want to do it. Go ahead, do it now. It will ignite your enthusiasm. Come on.